Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's another week. Getting to work here. I'm currently walking up the hill to Sandra's cabin site number 2. I'm going to give you the full... What the heck? Look at these tiny little tracks. Wonder what the heck that is. Has a tail, for sure. Alright, anyways. We'll leave the lizard tracking for another day, probably. So today's plan is move the equipment down the hill, move all the other piers out of the way that I had to knock over, and go from there. Oh yeah, and a lot of dozer work. I'll show you in a second why. I know it's the world's most exciting video right now in the form of a road, but this is how you're going to get up to this cabin. You're going to walk your happy butt up here, or drive, and here we are. So, believe it or not, we were able to pour the entire house's footings in one day. Really excited about that. We used almost all the concrete. This is all we have left. 1, 2, 3 bags. You can see them on the bottom there. Those are the only intact ones. There might be 2 more on the other side. Probably 5 bags left, honestly. Out of 56, which is a full pallet. So, let me show you exactly what was done. This right here is a trailer jack. It's holding this trailer up. Here's some of the equipment we had that we're using. Marking paint, level, a square for squaring off the lines, tape measure, and a hammer for driving in those rebars into the ground to use as 2 points between a line. I apologize that I do not have more in-process video. I'm trying to figure out how to balance being involved in the work and videoing. It's very difficult. So I'll try to work on that in the future. But here's an IBC tote that was 3/4 full of water. It's now half full of water. We used that bar of water to mix with the cement in our cement mixer right there. We dug holes with the auger on the tractor, but there was an issue. It is way rockier up here than it is down there on the bottom of the hill. Like, way rockier. Especially down after you get about a foot down. So what ended up happening is, the frost line here is 18 inches. We were trying to go 24 inches down or 3 feet down and pour it with concrete. Just straight in the ground. But what ended up occurring was, and I'll go over here to show you the poured footings. This hole right here, exactly at 18 inches at the bottom of it, there's what my neighbor, Larry, who's helping us with this and running the bulldozer, he calls it hard pan. He was drilling this first set right here, these 3. And when I was standing over here, like I'm like 4 feet away right now or something like that, it felt like I was bouncing up and down like this. The drill was vibrating something all the way underneath the ground, and I could see the sand bouncing and stuff. So we stopped drilling, and we sheared a shear pin on the drill for the first time. Luckily, we had already bought 5 of them in preparation for that. And so we had to stop here at 18 inches, okay? We're like, dang, that's a big rock or something. Then, on this one, we got stopped at like 18 inches also. And then this one over here got stopped at like 24 inches. And then this one and that one got stopped at like 3 feet. So at the exact same depths, 65 inches away, it is something very hard that the drill can't go through. I'm thinking a giant boulder, something. So it did worry me at first when these weren't able to go all the way down. But after we dug all of them and realized that it's something huge that is underneath this entire thing, it's not going to go anywhere. So at least we hit the frost line between these two, just barely. Definitely did with these two, went past it, and with these two down there, went way past it. So these down here took like 11 bags of concrete a piece, and these took like 8, and these took less, obviously. And you can see they're very big. Alright, if I walk over here, put my hand here, it's a big pad. Alright? Probably 2 feet across at some points. That's because it was spitting up rocks the whole time. Look at these. The drill was constantly encountering stuff this size and just coming up the auger. Stuff even bigger, like look at this one. it drilled, popped it out of the drill, no problem. And so, because of that, it hobbed out the top of the hole way bigger than the 12-inch diameter of the drill bit. And because of that, we had to use way more concrete. But, doesn't matter, we're putting a structure on here, so the bigger the footing, the better, honestly. This one probably weighs about 650 pounds. Okay? And so we easily got a ton of concrete here in the ground in the form of these 6 footings. So, I am excited. All in one day's work. There it is. 6 footings for cabin number 2. All we have to do now is get the leveling pads, and we should be able to set the structure right down. The hardest thing out of this entire job was to get our dog to put her paw in this footing. I am very excited for how this project went and how quick it was and how stable it feels. I am very confident that we'll be able to set a structure on these and it won't go anywhere. I say that because I'm confident that if I leveled a pad off in the sand and put a structure there, it wouldn't really go anywhere much. The problem with our cabin down there is that we didn't level the land at all. It's basically banked into a big side of the hill or a big berm, and then they just put blocks under the other end of it, which has like 2 feet of space, And so sand is extraordinarily strong. When we put 10 bags of concrete per footing and go beneath the frost line on 4 out of the 6 of them, I am extraordinarily confident that it will be enough. So now what we have to do is we have to take this and mirror it back down the hill, kind of overcome the issues we had with the columns and them not being usable, both because 1, they were not really solid enough in my opinion, and 2, because we couldn't even get the equipment to lift the structure up like we had planned on doing without a huge cost. So we can take what we've learned here and reapply it down there, and I think we'll be good. However, the only thing I'm concerned about is this is a 10 by 20 cabin, that's a 12 by 32 cabin, which means that we have to make another 6 footings, because we have to support all the skids on our cabin, and our cabin down there has 4 skids. This cabin only has 2 skids, so that's why we're able to get away with this 2 rows of 3. So it's going to be a little different for our structure. The thing I don't really know how to do, I guess, is still leave space for a dang crawl space or anything like that, you know? I have no idea how we're going to do that. This is really narrow, we couldn't even really do it here. But maybe down there, if we're lucky and the distance between the 2 inner skids is great enough, we can still dig some sort of crawl space. This one's going to be tough, you know, we might have to come in from the side here between these 2 and just like dig a channel like here or something like that, and then in. That will be up to the cabin owner, Bianca's mom, Sandra. Love you, Sandra. Hope you're enjoying seeing this coming along.
My mom's dog does the same damn thing.